So let me start we can start the conversation. Welcome everyone, to Real Talk with Lamin, the podcast where we share real stories and real experience and real conversation that inspire and educate people around the world. I'm your host Lamin, and today we have a special guest, Mr. Gregory Mitchell, right?
Yes.
And he's an author and a speaker, and a man whose life journey is a remarkable story, transformation. Gregory is an author and a prison to maker, a powerful that tell the story to overcome diversity, discovering purpose and finding hope after spending decades in prison. He is also the author of the forthcoming book, Psycho Economy. Today, we will talk about his life, the lesson he has learned, the challenges he has overcome, and the message he wants to share to the world today. Whether you are facing obstacles in your own life, looking for inspiration or belief today, conversation will leave with you something meaningful that will help the audience. Gregory, thank you so much to accept my invitation. It's an honor to have you real talk with Lamin. You are welcome, sir.
Well, I am thankful to be on your show because it's a very exciting experience to talk to a brother on the other side of the country.
Yeah,
On the
exactly.
other side of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And for starts, like you mentioned my name. My name is Gregory Mitchell. I am the author and motivating speaker,
Mm,
community caseworker, entrepreneur, and student in psychology and human development.
okay,
After spending about nearly 3 decades in prison, almost 30 years in prison,
okay,
I transformed my life through education,
okay.
faith, and pursuing a purpose. Today, my mission to help people understand that before we change our circumstances, we must change our consciousness.
Exactly. Wow, that's an inspired story. I mean, today we wanna talk about your early life, and your prison to Jamaica, and uh, prison. How many years you spend in prison, and we will talk about faith and purpose. We will talk about life after prison, and we will talk about your new book as well, and advice to the young people and the audience, listening to you right now, and the rapid fire. That's one I want us to talk about today. If you
Okay.
are really comfortable to share this story to the audience around the world listening right now.
Well, I'm very enthusiastic about all the questions because I believe that transformation starts in a very hard position.
Yeah, yeah.
And around the world, we don't really understand the conditions of people that are in a worse condition than we are. By me
Mm,
living in America in a city called Stockton, California,
okay,
is considered as one of the third worst cities in the United States.
okay,
And the reason why it's considered as the third worst city in the United States is because of our gun violence and our gang violence that we are plagued with at this particular time.
okay.
But
So
being
how?
go ahead.
No, no, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. But being an advocate and a conscientious advocate, meaning that being aware of all the psychological change that our youth go through, I
Okay,
beg to differ that Stockton is the third worst city in America. I believe the
okay.
reason of that is because it's just a matter of perception.
Yeah,
Once you understand that our youth have going through these transformation in life, and they do these things not basically out of just impulse, they do these things out of survival.
yeah,
Once we approach this understanding about how our youth are in this condition, then it's very easier for you to communicate to the youth why this is not the appropriate approach to take. But at the same time, you understand why they're in that condition.
yeah. That's true. But can we talk about your early life? Those days. How who are you? how it was, those days, the early life. I'm very interested to know about that story.
Yeah, in my early life, I was born in a place called French Camp, California.
Okay.
French Camp is about um, 5 miles south of Stockton, California. It's not that
Okay.
far, but it's in the county hospital. I was born in 1956.
Okay.
Uh, Back in the day, we had what is called a civil rights movement. I was born right in the middle of that movement in 1956. We were
Okay.
considered as Negroes.
Okay.
And Negroes didn't really have any civil rights until Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and a plethora of other leaders came and started fighting for the rights of the blacks in America. So I was
Yeah.
born in that era.
Okay.
I eventually, my mother was born in Mississippi in America, and she ended up going to prison when I was at a very young age.
Oh. So
And
how okay, continue. Let me you can speak. I'm
okay,
sorry.
so I'm gonna lead up to how I ended up in certain places in time. So I'm gonna give you the childhood part. It's in the book
Okay.
Prison to Mecca. So if any of your readers or any of your audience ever want to order the book Prison to Mecca, it's in all platforms on Amazon. I don't know what book platforms you got over there, but it's on every platform. You should be able to
Platform.
find it.
Okay.
If not, I'll send you the link.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay.
but my childhood was considered as the projects. Projects is considered as a squandered area. You
Okay.
know, like if you were in South Africa, they would Johannesburg would be a place like you would see as a ghetto. In
Yeah.
America, we have these type of scenes in almost every city where there are black people, whether it's in
Okay.
Chicago, New York, California, Los Angeles, or wherever you go. I've been to Atlanta, I've been to Mecca, you'll find impoverished people all over the world. But in order for you to understand and be able to see yourself and see the scene that I came from,
Mm.
my projects was what was called my first living in projects was called Edison Villa, which was an ex-army base.
Okay.
It was a bore down army base, and so that's where we live. We live with holes in the wall, mice is running around, roaches abundant living among us. But we
Yeah.
were happy children. We played in the mud, we played marbles. We had all those snotty noses, and the young girls they would do their hopscotch and they playing their jacks. You know,
Yeah.
and so I lived in that type of environment. But as a young child, you don't see it as a place of disaster or hardship. You just see it as life.
Yeah, exactly. But how do you manage to leave that era of you said Malcolm X, right?
Hmm.
And Martin Luther King. How was that era been and today? How can you give us a little bit about that era? Because most of us maybe I don't know the story. Those days. How this they call us like Negroes. Which we don't like. So how was that days and now? What is the difference?
Well, the difference is that as you grow up in life. So let
Yeah.
me go back. Okay, Malcolm was a very prolific speaker. He
Okay.
was
Yeah.
What made him famous was he went to prison, and he
Okay.
did about 10 years in prison. So when
Okay.
he was in prison, he was induced to Islam, and not in the Sunni Islam, but in the
Yeah.
form and fashion of Islam in America that had never been taught before.
Yeah.
And so he became a voice and an advocate for black people's civil rights, but he felt that the appropriate way to be able to gain civil rights was to bear arms, because America has its constitution, and one of the founding constitutions is to be able to bear arms.
Yeah.
But at that particular time and era, black people could not bear arms because they were not given the full plethora or full penalty of the law.
Okay.
So these civil rights leaders came along and they started fighting for our rights, in which was in 1963, they passed what is called the Civil Rights Bill. And
Okay.
so we had this what is called affirmative action. It allowed black people to merge with white people.
Mm.
Schools, black children were integrated with white children in white schools to integrate America. Well, the difference between Malcolm and Martin is Martin wanted to have a peaceful movement, and
Okay.
and like Mandela in
Yeah.
South
In South
Africa, he
Africa.
wanted to have a peace movement, but they threw him,
Movement.
cast him in prison for 28 years, almost the exact years that I did. But he was
Okay.
casted in prison for something as an advocate in the political uh, juggernaut, so to speak, to change what was happening in South Africa. But I was
Mm.
thrown in prison because I was just a hard-headed person, and I was doing a whole lot of stuff, and ended up having some conflict with other people, and then I ended up getting a life sentence. But I was
Oh,
an advocate out there. But as you transform your mind, as I was a young man into prison and doing 3 decades, I discovered Malcolm's biography and
okay.
who Martin Luther King really was, and
Was
all these black advocates was for us. So I started studying about how our history was connected in Africa, where we came from, uh, um, in the west coast of Africa, where the slave ships were taken from where they landed, brought
mm,
us into Jamaica and the West Indies, and then transferred us into America, and how we
yeah.
became slaves over a period of time. So historically, prison taught me that. But as a child, I was thrown what is called into the foster care system. Foster
Okay.
care system is basically where it's like orphanages, probably in your country. Foster care is where your mother goes. My mother, like I
Yeah.
say, when I was a young
Yeah.
age, around about 7 years old, she was went to prison.
But
And
but but sorry to. I mean, I want us to talk about little about that. When your mom went to prison, how do you manage? How was life with you those days? How what was the challenges? With you at that early age. You are 7 years. Mom is not there. I mean, life will definitely will be difficult, and there must be a lot of challenges on you. What challenges do you face? And those days, do you face any challenges those days? When your mom was not around.
oh yeah, because see, you have to understand in America it's different. They have these white establishments. They have what is called foster care.
Foster care, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so they have these homes designed for children who are separated from their parents.
Yes,
So
okay,
the place that I went to was called Mary Graham Hall.
okay.
Mary Graham Hall was a big brick building built like a Gothic building. And when I went there, my sisters went there, they separate the families. So you can't
Okay.
have contact with each other due to the fact of age, race, you know. So while I was in the Mary Graham Hall, I experienced what is called my first understanding or first encounter with prejudice. Because I
Okay.
really didn't, when I was a little kid, we were all black kids. We never
Yeah.
ran with white kids. So there they had white kids. So a
Yeah.
white little girl liked me because I'm light skinned and
Yeah.
and she liked the light skinned little colored boys they call them. And then
Yeah.
me and her was playing with each other, and she kissed me on the cheek. And
Okay.
one of the white uh, like caretakers there to watch over us, she came and grabbed her and told her, "Don't ever kiss me because I was dirty."
Oh.
That wasn't the word she used, but for the sake of language, I don't like using that type of language. But
Yeah,
she
I
called me a
understand.
whole bunch of names. So my
Mm,
sister was there too, and she's always
okay.
been a fighter and advocate for my family. So I went and told her what happened, and she went and cursed the lady out. Went and told her all these different, told her they'll never say that to her brother. And then after that, they were all separated, and me and my other little brother was left there.
Oh.
So we went to another place called the Stockton Children's Home, and then from
Okay.
the Stockton Children's Home we went into foster care with foster parents that lived out in a place where was called Gulf, California, and it's all at that particular times we were about in the 60s, 61, 62 or something like that. And black kids didn't go to school out there. It was only three
Oh.
black school kids in the school. Me and
Okay.
my little brother, and they eventually separated him is because of grade, and another little black kid. So we were called niggers so much.
Oh.
As I grew up, I thought my middle name was Gregory Mitchell Nigger Mitchell, you know, because they call us that so much. But I
Yeah.
I was able to make the adjustments there. But an
Okay.
incident happened. I think this is important that you understand
Hmm?
that I got in a car accident. We got in a car accident with our
Oh.
foster parents, and it broke my nose. It kind of like
Oh.
swelled my face up. So when I went into the hospital, my father came and see me. He couldn't even recognize who I was.
Oh,
So it was an act of God or the Creator or
yeah.
whatever your faith may be to save me. But what happened is when my mother was in prison, she educated herself, so she knew how to write.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
she wrote the governor and told the governor that she didn't want her kids being with the foster care no more because they tried to kill me. And that
Yeah.
was not true. So they took me out of that house and put me back in Mary Graham Hall in a place that I didn't want to be because of the prejudiced people that were there.
Yeah. But do you have relationship with your sister and your brother? How was the relationship? Those days when you people were coming up, your mom was not there. I mean, are you people connected together, or do they separate you? Each have to go to different foster care family, or you people have been together?
Yeah, what happened before that was the family was together already, right?
Okay.
So we were all kids running around doing what we do. We were different age, but our mother taught us how to be tight knitted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we used to go to motor movies, shows together. Like if you read the book, I talk about us going into a restaurant called King's Restaurant, where the rat traps were neatly uh, parked in the corners of the restaurant. It was something
Mhm.
out of a James Bond movie. This is how I write about it. And this is
Yeah.
one of our greatest things and greatest cuisines that we had because our culture, we had cornbread, neck bones, pig feet, pig head, chitlin guts. And this is what we were fed at a very young age because this was the only thing that we could afford.
Okay.
You see, so our diet was enriched with all kind of stuff that we consider now as haram.
Yeah. It's a very very. I mean, a lot of challenges, growing up, without your parents around, I mean, many feel a lot challenging. So now we talk about, your early imprisonment. So I want to talk about your prison years now. I mean, how can you tell us about the circumstance that lead you to the imprisonment, and what was the first day prison look like, and what is the hardest lesson you learned during those days? Was there a moment when you decided that your life had to change? What role did education, reading, and self reflection play a transformation in your life?
Okay, so I have to give you the story so you can
Okay,
understand what led me up to it. Okay,
okay.
in 1989 or
Mhm,
87, I'd already
mhm.
went back. I went to prison for a robbery.
Robbery, okay,
Okay, because I was out robbing people.
okay,
So I
okay,
went to, that was my first stint. They only gave me like 2 years for it. So I got out like in 16 months. So by the time that I got out in 16 months, it was like the 1987s or in that era. This was
yeah,
considered in America the crack era, the
okay,
crack cocaine era. So
yeah,
when I got out of prison, I started selling
okay,
crack cocaine. So I was considered as a D boy, a dope boy, out selling
yeah,
drugs and making money and chasing promiscuous women and doing all those type of things. So I was
okay,
making a lot of money doing that. And then when you're on parole, you got to dodge the parole officer. So
yeah,
they're like a police that is designated for them to watch over you. And if you do anything wrong, they send you back to prison. They call it a parole violation. But
okay,
so what happened was I was out in the neighborhood selling drugs one day, and
mm,
one guy hit my girlfriend, and
ooh,
he was a gangbanger. He was a Crip. I don't know if you guys know the Crip blood and all that
yeah,
nature of the colors and all that historical aspects of the prison scene in Americas. Black on black crime has always been at a high rate. And so I went and confronted these gangbangers.
yeah,
And so they pulled a gun out on me.
okay,
I'm saying by me being in prison, I wasn't afraid of getting shot or killed. I was
mm,
considered in the game. So I told him if he didn't do what he was going to do then, he can't be faking. So he didn't shoot me. So I had my girl go get me a 357.
okay,
So when I got my 357, I went in and confronted him. And once I confronted him, I shot him and I killed him. And
oh,
so this was the leading factor for me to get the life sentence. So
okay,
I went on a run. I left the country. They called me. They extradited me back to Stockton, California, where I was at, and then they convicted me of 36 years to life.
Ooh.
Within that period of time of me waiting on to get sentenced, like in America, you're not found, you're not proven guilty until
Guilty.
you're proven innocent until you're found guilty.
Guilty.
So you
Exactly.
go through the judicial process, and when you're fighting these type of cases and stuff, they last from anywhere from 1 year to 3 years. You're
Mhm.
fighting your case so you don't get the life sentence. So I fought it for like would consider it as 3 years. But while I was in the county jail,
Yeah.
I had a grade level, a very low grade level, sixth grade grade level, and this was the fact. This was due to me going to Miriam Hall and Children's Home, and then
Okay.
getting the culture shock of going back into the projects and
Mhm.
having fights with other people because they felt that I articulated myself like a white person. So the
Yeah.
black guys used to make fun of me and things, said I was white, so I used to get into a lot of fights. Okay, but
Okay.
anyway, from that stage of going into prison, I was in county jail waiting trial. So
Okay.
I was a Christian at that time. I was known as the preacher, you know.
Okay.
So I was able to run up and down the tiers as they have it because it was like this 3-tier thing with bars. We just yelled, scream, burn trash on the
Mhm.
tier. We did all kind of raucous things. We were a raucous little crowd. But I turned to Christ at that time, and by me turning to Christ, I was starting to educate myself through the Bible.
Okay.
And once I educated myself through the Bible, I started understanding how to file grievances on the prison or on the jail. So I became a prison advocate in the jail. And that
Okay.
created a lot of enemies for me. A lot of custodian officers and people didn't like me. So one day, the inmates decided to go on a food strike. And when they went on this food strike, they wouldn't come out to get their food. And so they locked down the institution. And when they locked down the institution, they came and got me. They said
Okay.
I had the most influence of the inmates there, so I'm the one that staged it, which I didn't. The story's a little deeper than that. So once you get the book Prison to Mecca, maybe if you send me an address, I'll send you a copy of it.
Mhm.
And so they came and got me. And at this time, San Joaquin County Jail, they were was called what they would do to blacks is that they would do what they call a hog tie.
Okay.
And a hog tie is that they put a chain around your neck and then they handcuff your neck back, put the back right there, and they would leave you there until you choke out. And then
Okay.
they would come take it off of you after you choke out. But sometimes they would get there too late and the inmate would die. This is what they
Ooh.
were doing to blacks at that time.
Oh my
So
God.
when they came and got me, the fear was is this is what they were getting ready to do to me because they said I had too much influence over
Yeah.
the inmates. So when
Yeah.
they came and got me, they came in riot gear to really hurt me. But the creator protected me.
Yeah.
So at that time when they were getting ready to take me into AgSed, this is what is called administration segregation, where they put you by yourself. They put you in a cell by yourself 24 hours a day. Nobody gets to have contact with you just by yourself all day. So
Okay.
so when they got ready to take me, the inmates start yelling, call his family, call his family, so they don't hog tie him and kill him because they're getting ready to take him down into the hole. That's what we call the hole.
Yeah.
So when they took me down there by those people yelling and screaming, don't let him be taken to the AgSed, saved my life because the sergeant said, consider yourself lucky this time. So while I was down there, I stayed in AgSed for 2.5 years fighting my case all by myself.
Okay.
So one night I had a dream.
Hmm.
I had a dream of a black cloth, square black cloth that
Yeah.
had some writing on it. I never knew what the writing was.
Was
You know?
okay.
So when I got out of the dream, I started asking everybody, say, I had this dream. This dream had some gold writing, some silver writing on it. It had this big black cloth. You know what that dream is? So no one really knew what the dream was,
Yeah.
right? So fast forward, when I was found sentenced to 36 years to life, I was transferred to a new jail.
Okay.
So they took me out of AgSet and put me in general population. And while I was in general population, I was trying to find people to tell me what this dream was.
Yeah.
So when they finally shipped me out to prison, what is called Calipatra, right on the borderline of California and Mexico, the country Mexico, which is about 750 miles away from Stockton, California, where I live, I ran into a Muslim brother named Mahdi.
Mahdi. Oh, I have a son named Mahdi too. My second son, his name is Mahdi.
Okay. So me and Mahdi in prison, which is it was a very violent prison, very violent.
Oh,
A lot of stabbing, shoot, the officers killing us. You know, blacks have a terrible time in prison.
yeah,
We have a terrible time. We got all kind of enemies. No one likes us. We don't even like ourselves.
yeah,
But we have to survive. And the creator gave me this story to motivate people. So one day, me and Mahdi was arguing.
yeah,
I was arguing about Jesus. It was Christ God. He was the blood of Christ. If nothing is with the Jesus but the blood of Christ, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And Mahdi was saying, no, it's only one God. And Muhammad ibn Abdullah is the messenger of 1400 years ago and the seal of the prophets. So me and him was arguing back and forth. And I would tell him, I don't know nothing about no Muhammad, and I don't know nothing about no seal of no prophets. All I know is Christ is God. And he said, Christ, he told me, say, Christ is not God. He's not the one God. He's not the creator of the universe. So we used to dialogue, exchange books. And then one day we got in a serious, heated argument.
okay.
And he said, one day I want you to come to Juma. I said, I'm not coming to Juma. I don't know what Juma is. I'm not coming to Juma. I'm a son of Christ. He said, okay. One day, I'm going to invite you to Juma. He was a very patient brother. I really admired him. Still do right to this day.
Okay.
And so one day we got in this argument. I said, okay, I'll come to Juma, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I'll come to Juma. If
you have to go and see it.
If you tell me what this dream is.
Yeah.
Right? He says, okay, tell me the dream. In the back of my mind, nobody's been able to tell me what this dream is for the last 3 years. So I know he can't tell me it, right?
Yeah.
So he says, tell me what the dream is. I said, okay. When I was in AgSet about 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, I was all by myself and I had a dream of this big black cloth. It had gold writing on it. It had some silver writing on it. And it was this big black square thing. I don't know what that big black square thing was, but that's my dream. So he looked at me. He said, I can tell you what that dream is.
Okay.
And I said, no, you can't tell me what that dream is. Nobody's been able to tell me that dream. He said, now remember, I can tell you that dream. And if I tell you that dream and you're honest, you're going to come to Juma? I said, absolutely. If you tell me that dream, I'll become a Muslim.
Yeah.
And I'm lying in the back of my head. I'm lying. I ain't coming to a Muslim, right?
Okay.
Right. So he goes up, and the way this prison is set up, some people have what they call juice, or they have particular duties, and they can get the prison guards to open up the cells because they have these what they call like M40s guns.
Yeah.
So to keep order in the prison, they have these fences where they can look at everybody that's on the floor. So they're standing over us, watching us with the gun. So he asked the guy to open up his cell for him. So he goes up to his cell. He comes back down. He has this poster.
Yeah.
And then he opens up the poster and he lays it out on the table and he says, "Is this your dream?"
Yeah.
So I look at it and I say, "What's that?" He said, "This is the Holy Kaaba in Saudi Arabia. This is where Malcolm X went. This is why his name is El-Hajj Malik Shabazz, because he went to Hajj here. Is that what you dreamed of?" I wanted to lie so bad.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell him, no, this is not what the dream is about.
Dream is,
The guy said, you can't lie. You know that's what that dream is about. You've been looking for this dream. He said, I know this is what the dream is about because I can see your body language. This is the dream. And this is what he told me. He says, I've been a Muslim for 30 years and I have never dreamed about the Kaaba.
Kaaba,
Prophet
yeah.
Muhammad said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, peace and
Salah.
blessings upon him,
Yeah.
said that anyone dreams about the Kaaba will go there.
Yeah.
So he said, I haven't dreamed about it, and you're a Christian. There's no possible way that you're not going to be a Muslim. I said, oh, no, not me. Nothing but the blood of Jesus, brother. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. I ain't never going to be no Muslim, right? So that was the beginning of the story of me becoming the
A
Muslim.
Muslim.
And I'll let you ask me more questions how I ended up getting to Mecca, because this was an extraordinary event too.
Yeah. We will be coming today how you end up being in Mecca. I mean, because you write a book about prison to Mecca, right?
Right.
But what was the challenges, in that prison those days, in those years? Because there must be a lot of, I know you talk about a lot of things, like I want to give us more about those days in American prison, how it looked like, when a black person is in prison, what is the difference, how do they treat them, with the white people, is there any fair treatment between?
Well, there is never a fair treatment for the black man in America, Keith. Especially if he becomes Muslim. He's never
Yeah,
fair
yeah, yeah,
but we have to be able to adjust. So in prison, it
yeah.
was kill or be killed.
Okay,
So you had to learn how to be able to manufacture weapons. You made them out of anything. You found a nail, you'd make a weapon out of it. You found some plastic, you'd burn it, shape it, and make a weapon out of it.
hmm
You had to learn how to make weapons, and then you had to learn how to be able to hide them, because
because
they had
we watch that on TVs, how prisoners make weapon from toothpaste, from something very simple, and they'll be hiding it under the bed. We saw that in prison, so it means that it's a real thing happening too in jail those days.
right. So
Okay,
eventually I took my shahada
in prison.
in prison. So when I took my shahada, it caused some conflict with my Christian brothers.
Okay,
So the Christian brothers got together and they wanted to attack the Muslim brothers.
okay,
And so I went and talked to them and kind of smoothed it out, and because they had weapons and we had weapons. And
yeah,
I explained to them that we couldn't be enemies or we couldn't fight each other due to the fact just because we had different faiths did not mean that we were not brothers.
yeah,
We
exactly.
already had we may have different theological understandings about things, but we're still
Mm,
brothers in humanity.
brothers. Yeah, exactly.
And on this yard, we have to stick together because we have the Hispanic, which is called the MA. You had another Hispanic group called the 18th Street. Then you had another Hispanic group called the Sureños. And then you have the Nazi Lowriders, which is a white group, a white
Okay,
supremacist group. And then
okay,
you have another group of what is called the Fresno Bulldogs. All those groups fought against us. So you had one group of blacks against all those people. So generally, when we got into riots, and then the police, they were so far away they were so far into a rural area that they were
hmm
generally all white, maybe 4 or 5 blacks. And so their thing was just to gun you down and shoot you down, no matter whenever the riots jumped off. So there was constantly riots there with black and white and Hispanic inmates. And God just protected me. I never got caught in those scrimmages or those melees. He just preserved me. He always got away. Or the
yeah,
officer would search my cell and he would overlook the weapons.
okay,
And one time I was walking on the yard and these officers they called me to them. They say, Mitchell, what you got? They said, what you got on you? Because we know you got something on you, but we're going to give you a chance to go get rid of those things that you got on you. And I
yeah,
did have something on me. And then, but when I look back on this,
yeah.
in these terrible conditions, because it was like 124 degrees there,
Ooh,
I seen that the Creator was always there to help me.
yeah,
In foster care, they had a lot of molestation and stuff going on where kids were being abused. I never faced that. In prison, they had a lot of people that I seen were shot and killed by the guards there.
Gosh,
A lot
yeah,
of people stuck and go to hospitals, die of natural stuff. He
yeah.
let me 3 decades. He got me out of that. You know. So when I finally got out of prison, I went to the local masjid. But I'm gonna let you ask me some more questions before I get
But
there because I don't want
yeah,
to spoil
yeah, exactly.
how I got to Mecca.
Yeah, before we get there, I mean, you are a man. You have belief. You have faith. You know, because you said that you were a Christian before, and you have faith in Christianity before. And is there any force for you to become a Muslim to take your first Shahada? Did anybody force you to do it, or it was just a decision from you to, like your friend, narrate your dream, and you decide that I think I have to be a Muslim because this dream is true. How was it? How did you become a Muslim? How all that became in one umbrella? Like how it happened?
Well, it happened like when Mahdi showed me the flyer, the
Yeah.
poster.
Okay.
My mind had finally had rest.
Okay.
It says, you know, that's the picture.
Hmm?
He's telling you something that's phenomenal. He's telling you that if someone dreams about this thing, this Kaaba, that you know what it is, the center of the earth,
Hmm?
the holy city of Mecca,
Make, yeah.
1,000 miles from America, or even longer or further, you're dreaming about it. There's no possible way that this guy is lying because nobody's been able to tell you this dream. So maybe you should start studying and find out if he's telling you the truth.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I studied was Malcolm X's biography, and I
Okay.
seen what he went through with the Nation of Islam and how he went to Mecca and he came back and he became Sunni Muslim.
Yeah.
So that was a start. And then the brothers gave me a prayer pamphlet with the
Okay.
Arabiya and the translation.
In
So I had to
English.
learn the Fatiha, I had to learn how to wudu, I had to learn all the essentials of the 5 pillars of Islam. I had to learn all these things. And it was interesting in me because it gave me more structure in my life. It gave me discipline and it raised my conscientiousness.
Yeah.
It made me more aware. So I was able to convey more when I was, because I was already a writer of the 602s and filing grievances and writs of habeas corpuses and all the
Huh?
stuff. That's how I ended up being a writer, I suppose, because I was training myself. I was writing so much stuff to people and for people. I guess I formulated the art of writing. So yeah, it was one of those type of things. But no, to answer to your question, nobody forced me to become Muslim.
Muslim.
No one
Okay.
stuck a knife up to me and say you're going to become Muslim
A Muslim.
because
Okay.
I was a staunch Christian and I was already a warrior.
Yeah.
So I was willing to die for that. So
Yeah.
in those type of conditions, you have to be willing to die at any day that you come out. Any day that you come out on a yard, you have to be willing in the mindset that you may not make it today.
Yeah.
You may not make it home. So Islam emboldened me even more when I start reading about Hamza and Abu Bakr and all these warriors and these people were fighting in the Battle of Badr. It was outnumbered 300, 800, and all these battles they were fighting and they were fighting fi sabilillah. That's just
Yeah.
emboldened me more. So I said, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna go to paradise. So so
Yeah.
I was even stronger then. So I said, well, I'm gonna go to paradise, so I'm just get whatever Allah want, I'm gonna get. But
Yeah.
I became more of a humanitarian type person. I became able to convey that to my enemies much
Okay.
easier. I don't want to fight you,
No.
but I will fight you. But I
Okay.
really want to choose the path of peace. That's the path that Muslims want to choose.
Yeah.
But as an African American and American, and I know that I'm your arch enemy for whatever reason it may be, I really want to choose peace.
Yeah.
So
Peace. Yeah.
I really build up a good rapport with everybody because they
Okay.
know I wasn't a coward. They knew I
Yeah.
was a warrior and they knew I wasn't afraid to die. So that gave me more power to be able to talk to people.
So it means, I mean, you take a lot. I mean, your story is very inspired. I mean, I'm learning a lot here from you. I mean, you have been in prison, or you been in prison. So it means that you started writing or everything changed, be a Muslim, started writing books, having this kind of inner peace in you. I mean, controlling yourself, everything started in prison, right?
Yes.
Okay. So how was the journey?
Okay. So I got to lead you up to the journey so you can understand how difficult it was and how it was a miracle. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
walk you through.
and
Okay.
how it was with with your inmate too. Being a Muslim in American prison, I know it's not gonna be an easy thing. I mean, convincing other people that, oh, come and join, brother, come and join me. God is here for all of us. Allah is here for all of us. I mean, to convince people, I know it's gonna be a challenges on that. How it was.
Okay. First of all, the the structure, the officers there, they didn't like Muslims in the first place. So they
Okay.
impeded Juma. So Juma would be at all times of the day. We had some people that came in there to say they were imams, but they were not. They were part of the system to try to
Okay.
appease us. So
Okay.
we had to file paperwork like grievances to be able to get the right time for Juma because we were
Juma.
fighting because Juma is in the middle of the day where
Okay.
everybody's got their work assignments.
Yeah.
So California Prisons Department of Corrections is what they're called, didn't want to give us that time off
Okay.
because under the 13th Amendment in America, slavery is legal in prison.
Yeah.
So some rights are trumped by security. So we had to fight them to be able to establish laws according to the Constitution of America to allow us to have Juma. And in
Juma.
that
Okay.
process, I played a major part in it writing again. So I ran into some other guys in another prison. They transferred me out of that prison. I was able to get they have a point system. And when your point systems, you go to a high violent prison, then you start going down to lower violence prisons. Then you go down to a lower violence prison before you go to the parole board.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you has the parole board, how the parole board works. So you can
Yeah.
understand how extraordinary this was.
Okay.
So when I was in prison, I was like a very studious person. I studied everything. I started getting my education. I didn't have no high school diploma, so I got what they call a general education diploma. They call
Mhm.
it a GED in America. So I got that first. And then I started studying the Arabic language, the alphabet, the alphabets, the hurufs, how to connect the words. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This is the book in it you find it, and there is no doubt for those who believe. So I
Yeah.
learned the Arabic language in prison.
Okay.
So, I learned about sayings like kaifa halak haki and
Yeah.
different phrases, halim salinaki, you know. And so I learned different phrases, how to be able to speak it. I started teaching it.
Okay.
But when I was in prison, they never would give us our services. It was always a fight. When it was time to have it, they wouldn't let us go. They wouldn't let us out of our cells. They wouldn't. It was always a fight. So we got together. The brothers got together, and they say, they had what is considered as a mass lease committee, a committee in the prison. So we
Mhm.
got together and say, okay, we got to have some type of strategy. We can't beat them fighting them because they just
Yeah.
going to tear gas us, beat us, and transfer us all over to California, and stick us in more dangerous prisons and set us up. And that's not going to be able to get us anywhere. We're going to have to use that Constitution that they love so much
Yeah.
and get them to adhere to that in courts. I said it may be a long battle, so we start filing paperwork. So when I filed the paperwork with these other brothers, we came together and eventually they passed the laws to allow every prisoner in the United States to have Juma. But I played a major
Okay.
part in that case.
In that.
Okay, so I learned a lot about prison politics and learning about rights. So when I end up, when you have a life sentence, you have to go to the what is known as the California State Prison for Prison Board. It's called a parole board,
Yeah.
and it's sometimes they have two people there, sometimes they have three people there.
Okay.
So the first time that I went to the board, they denied me. They denied me 5 years. They said, "Well, you're not ready. You can't. You have to admit to the crime. You have to understand all these different rules and regulations." They can deny you really for anything. His brother's still in prison 56 years. There's people
Ooh.
I know who've been in prison for 56 years. They won't let them out. So, so when I got to this one particular prison called DVI in Stockton, California, or in Tracy, California, I started teaching Islam. I started teaching about financial freedom,
Okay.
economic, social structures, how the prison structure works, how the law works in America. Why is it important for you to understand these processes to be able to articulate yourself to get free and stay free?
Okay.
It's one thing to get in prison and get out and go back and go in the revolving door, but it's
Mhm.
another thing to get out and be able to stay out. And matter of fact, I'm going back into the prison next tomorrow to go give
Yeah.
duty. So I go. I'm a volunteer to go in prisons now. So I go. So I was living in the prison. Now they give me the key to go back into prison and open doors with the key. You can't tell me Allah is not great, but let me tell you the story. So I was getting ready to go to the parole board before I got paroled,
Okay.
and I was helping all these guys, and these guys kept going back to this one particular counselor. And counselors are the ones who they have a file that they keep on you. Okay, Mitchell did this, he done that, he did good, he do they get all these things in there on your record to
Mhm.
qualify you to get out of prison. So one day I was walking down the hallway in prison, this particular prison, and this counselor say, "Hey, is your Muslim name Abdullah Mubashir?" And when prison administrations ask you about stuff, you got
Yeah.
to play dumb because you
Yeah.
need to find out why they're asking you these questions because
Yeah.
they can write
Exactly.
something in your file and you'll never get out of prison. So you have
No.
to be smart when you're saying
Ex-
what your name is, right?
Exactly.
Because you work in the prison and you should know who I am because this is your job.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to just
Exactly.
volunteer to give you no information. So I said, I think you got the wrong guy. I don't think you. No, that's not my name. He said, what is your name? I said, what is this all about, right? I mean, why are you interrogating me? He said, because I've been getting some of my guys in here, and these guys are just straight out demons.
Okay.
And they were telling me about this guy that's giving them this class, and I have watched their behavior change. And that's all they talk about is this Mubashir guy. And I had to meet this Mubashir guy because some of these guys have been in AGSAG for 20, 30 years for sticking other inmates and sticking staff. And their
Yeah.
whole life has changed behind this Mubashir guy.
Okay.
So this Mubashir guy I would like to meet because he's doing magnificent work. And I want to help him since he helped everybody else. I want to write something on him good. So I said, yeah, it's me. He said, I told you, I knew it was you. He said, can you come to my office tomorrow? I'm going to write you a pass right now so you can come to my office. So I went to his office and he was sitting there, he was talking, and he was asking me questions like what made you leave Christianity? How'd you become a Muslim? How'd you become so intellectual? How'd you do this? How'd you do that? So I was giving him the story like I was giving you. He said, I want to
Mm.
do something for you, and I want to just be your counselor. Can I be your counselor? I said, sure. He said, well, I'm gonna write you something in your file. So when you go to the board, they ain't gonna have no choice but to let you go. But in the back of my mind, I'm saying, sure, you devils, all y'all devils, and all y'all devils, black, brown, green, all of y'all, me, y'all ain't with Allah, y'all hate Muslims. But I'll go along with it, right? So
Mm.
moving
Interesting.
forward, I go to the board of prison terms. This day was a day that I felt something very different on this day.
Oh,
It was like
okay.
the spirit of Allah was on me, telling me, don't worry about it. You're going
Mm.
to get found suitable and you're going to leave this place. I need you to
Wow.
get out and do something else. I had that feeling, right? But you get to be in contact with people who's going in and who's going out.
We're going out.
Everybody went in that day and came out. They all got denied.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
now generally at 5:30, the board leaves. But they had so many people and it was 99 so people. I went around 7 o'clock and people was telling me, you're not gonna make it, you're gonna get you're gonna have to get another hearing, you're not gonna get out. This man is denying everybody, he's an ex-gang this, he's an ex-gang that, he
Yeah.
don't like inmates, you're not gonna get out. And I kept telling them, I say, inshallah, Allah
Yeah.
says, "Ya'lamu bayna ahaduhum min khalfihim." Allah knows what's before me, before me, and
Mm,
behind me.
yeah.
Nothing can be moved without his bi'ithni, without his permission. And I found favor. Fami ay rabbikuma tukabiban. I have found favor with Allah, and I'm not going to reject any of his favors. I'm going and I'm getting out today,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
So when I get there, there's a guy in the holding cell before I go into the parole hearing. So when I get in the parole hearing, he said, they just denied me 15 years. I said, 15 years? He said, yeah, it's a guy in there, man. He's a gang coordinator. I'm with the Northaniel gang, and he gave me 15 years.
Wow.
15-year denial. That's a whole nother life sentence.
Yeah.
Well, has anybody been found suitable? He says no. He denied every single person, and you're the last person.
Wow.
He probably will deny you too. And so I told him, I said, well, he ain't gonna deny me. He ain't gonna deny me because I got a lot of messenger. He said, well, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you, brother, but this man is denying everybody. So they called me and said, Mitchell, you up next. Right. So they handcuff you, take you in there, sitting there in the handcuffs, and then they start asking you questions. So they're reading my file and they start asking me questions. So you Muslim, huh? I say, yeah, I'm Muslim.
Okay.
And so you don't believe in Christ, huh? And I say, no, I do believe in Christ. He's the Messiah. He's the Messiah. We do believe in Christ. We got a whole chapter called Marian on Christ. Why? My whole family, they're Christians. I'm the only Muslim in my family. Yes, I believe in Christ. I came out of Christianity. So he asked me the next question. He said, so you think you're smart, huh? I said, what do you mean by that? What, no disrespect to you, Commissioner. Why are you asking? Why does it seem like you having so much animosity towards me? And he says, who said I had animosity towards you? I said, well, I mean, it's the tonality of your voice. I'm calm. I'm calm. I'm Allah telling me what to say. I'm bold.
Yeah.
And so he says, so right here, I'm looking at all these 602s and all these writs you didn't file, all this paperwork and all these school things that you didn't did and accomplished. You think you one smart guy of the words, huh? So it's a female commissioner and a male commissioner. So now she switches on me. She says, well, I think you don't need to go out of prison. I think you're scum. What do you got to say about that, Mr. Mitchell? They're attacking me.
Yeah.
Trying to get me to respond, to react, so they don't have to let me go, right? So I says, I'm lower than that. If you think I'm scum, if it's anything lower than that at that particular time I was in the world, I'm lower than that. And so she couldn't say anything, right?
Yeah, no.
So they said, okay, well, tell me about the crime. What made you do this? So I explained the crime to him, told him what I did. I can't win through foster care. That wasn't the reason why I committed the crime. My circumstances was the reason why. It was the conditioning of what I thought I was. And my conditioning was the wrong type of thinking. And it's always been the consciousness and my perception of what I believe I was. And I had this false perception of myself, and I took another person's life. I'll never be able to replace it, but I can tell you each step of the crime, and I done that to them. So the hearing I stayed in there till about maybe 8 o'clock that night. Never done before in the history of that.
Yeah.
So they said, Mr. Mitchell, step out. So I stepped out. I stepped out about 30 seconds, and my attorney didn't really get a chance to talk to me. Because they appoint you an attorney. It's like a hearing, but it's not like a court hearing where you get all your rights. It's a hearing that they give you. Their rights is the only thing you're going to get, and their opinion is the only thing that counts, and their determination is the only thing that counts.
Okay.
So I get out for about 30 seconds. They say, Mitchell, come back in. So we come back in. She said, oh, they're getting ready to deny you. They've been denying everybody, but they took longer than that. They took longer than 15 seconds, 30 seconds. They've been ready to deny you. So I explained to her and I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control. I'm going to win today.
Yeah, that's true.
So I go back in there. We sit down. They say, we're back on the record. We have Mr. Mitchell in front of him. We calculate his time as 395 months. We find him suitable to go home But that went over my head because I'd been stuck in prison for 28 years. So they
Yeah.
found me suitable to go home that day. So it takes about a couple of months before they finalize you going home because the governor can still rescind the date. But anyway, to
Okay.
move forward to Mecca, they let me out. So I got out, and then when I was at that particular prison, there was a Muslim chapter in there named Michael Muslim. And
Okay.
so he came to visit me one time at the masjid at Masjid Imam in Stockton, California. And we were discussing some things. And he said, well, I'm getting ready to go to Mecca with the brothers on Umrah.
Okay.
And then when I come back, I'll talk to you, right? So he he went to Umrah, or it was Hajj, because he went twice with the brother. I think it was Hajj. And then he
Yeah.
came back and said, hey, there was a conversation about you in Mecca. I said, is that right? What conversation am I doing way in Mecca? I just got out of prison. I ain't been out of prison for 3 months. How would anybody know who I am? He said, well, they was talking about you in Mecca, and they was looking for what brothers they wanted to take to Mecca or Umrah coming up this year in November. And your name came up. And I told him
Okay.
that you were my clerk. And he said, when I told him you was a clerk, they had asked me, what kind of clerk was he? And I told him you was my clerk in prison. And they said, that guy Mubashir has been to prison. I could never tell that brother had ever
Yeah.
been to prison, right? They said, let's get him to go. Well, let's pay for him to go to Mecca. Remember the dream, Aki. Remember the
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah.
Right?
The dream. Yeah. Yeah.
So one day we're in the masjid and the brother come and he's talking, hey man, we was talking about you. And then the imam of the masjid come out and say, hey, how would you like to go to Mecca? Now, I'm on what is called life parole, Aki. You can't leave the country. You can only
Yeah.
travel
Okay.
50 miles. And when you
Okay.
travel 50 miles, you have to have your license. You got to let them know the color of the car. You got to let them know the model of the car, the license plates of the car, who's going to be in the car, and how far you're going to be. And you need to give them 2 weeks notice so they can give you a pass so you can go to that place. Now, mind you, Mecca's 8,400 miles from America, where I was at.
Yeah.
I'm on life parole. I'm on restriction. No one on life parole has ever been to Mecca, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, brother said, you want to go to Mecca? Of course I want to go to Mecca, Aki, but I'm on life parole. This has never been done before. He says, well, go find out what you got to do to go to Mecca. So I go to my
Okay.
parole officer and I say, hey, what are the chances of me going to Mecca? She said, oh, you can go to Mecca right to today if you want to go. I said, I really can. She said, yeah, Mecca's in Sacramento. I said,
Okay.
Sacramento's 50 miles away. That's right here in America. Mecca's in Saudi Arabia.
In Saudi Arabia. How? See, he thought that it was in America. But before we go to the journey in Mecca, I mean, which year do they let you out from prison? Because you talk about when you go to the judge, I mean, it means that your faith and your belief to God have transformed your life because you have faith that things will be going fine on you. Even others do not believe that when you go to the judge, I mean,
Right.
they will not let you, they will not make things easy on you. But with your faith and your belief in God, the Almighty Allah, transform you a lot. It helped you a lot in this journey in prison. I mean, after everything what has happened, they let you out from prison. Where do you go? How was life by then? Because it might be because you spent a lot of 2 decades in prison, 36 years in prison, right?
28 years.
28 years in prison. Then they let you out. So how was it, those days, when you were out? I mean, no job, nowhere to go, maybe no money. I mean, maybe friends have grown up, some have family. I mean, your maybe your brothers, your sisters. How was it,
Well, they have what is called sober living homes. So I had to go to a sober living home.
Okay.
And so while I was in the sober living home, I met my wife.
Oh, okay.
So me and her was courting, so to speak, but there's no courtship in Islam. So I was teaching her Islam because she was a
Okay.
Muslim.
Okay.
And so eventually I started working for $12 an hour. In America, that's very low wages,
Yeah.
$12 an hour. Maybe
Yeah.
somewhere else it might be wages, but it was really grueling work. So I had to go to work, and then I find me staying in these homes. You have to go to classes, so I
Yeah.
had to go to classes, and I enrolled in college. So I had to
Okay.
go to classes, enrolled in college, and work. So by the time I left and went to work, by the time I got back, I didn't have no rest of the day to really talk to nobody or really do anything.
Yeah.
So, but my parole officer was so amazed how quick I got work and how I was going to college and how I was maintaining everything. She came and gave me a lot of breaks.
Okay.
But it's when you get out of prison, it's very difficult to make the adjustments.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
especially
Mm.
when you've been around people that your life can be at danger at any given time.
Hmm.
You're out on the streets, and you're not even used to hearing a baby cry. So when the baby's in the house, you kind of like standoffish, and people want to know why you standoffish because you really don't want to tell them, "Hey, I ain't been around a baby in 28 years."
Yeah.
Like a foreign something. Hey, you want to
Yeah.
hold a baby? No, I don't want to hold a baby. I might break the baby. I don't. No, no, I don't want to hold no baby. You know, I don't want to hold no babies. Not right now.
Yeah.
So and then you had to learn about credit. I couldn't even use a telephone when I got out. I didn't know nothing
Yeah.
about no smartphones. I couldn't
Mm.
use a phone. People had to show me how to use a phone.
What
I
year was
didn't.
that?
That was 2017.
Not long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay. So so as I learned how to do as I growed and going to school, I was
mm,
older like an older guy in college around all the young kids, and the young kids in
yeah,
college would always be asking me, "Hey OG," that means original gangster in America.
yeah, yeah,
"Hey OG, why you in school?" Right? Because gray hair and all that. I'm in
yeah,
school doing my schoolwork and working on my degree. I'm tired as heck because I just got
yeah.
done getting on work. I'm at school and I got to be back. I'm walking. I ain't got no car. I'm walking to the masjid. My wife got a car, but she has to do other things, and she's staying in the parking lot when it's raining while I'm in school, and I'm doing my schoolwork, and I'm telling them, I say, well, knowledge does not have an age on it, nor does
No, no,
so I have to build a life, but I
yeah,
couldn't tell them about prison.
no,
See what I'm saying? So I had to talk to them in riddles. It's very important. Your parents is telling you to go to school. Listen to them while you have chance to
yeah.
listen to them. When
Okay.
you get done with this class school, go to the university and get you a higher education. Then get you a higher education, and then
Mm-hmm.
learn how to work for yourself.
So,
That's what I'm in school for. So at that particular time that I was going to school, I ended up dropping out of school for a minute because I was accepted at the University of Pacific's, so what
oh,
is called alcohol substitute program, and it's a 6 month program that you just has to work. Or you have to be in class every day. So I had to
okay.
drop out of college. So I got that, and then I graduated from college too with an AA. Then I went to another college. It's called Stan
Mm,
State University, and I just received my bachelor's associate just recently. And so, with that in mind, these are just some of the things I had to do to be able to be in the position that I'm in now. Now I'm a social worker. Once I got my degree, I make way more money, 3 times that amount that I was in the when I started off on $12,
but
right?
here is a correction. I mean, prison teach you a lot, and you have learned and transform your life in prison, right?
hmm
What could you imagine if you were not in prison? Will you be in this stage of life right now?
I mean, honestly, no. I mean, it's we never know.
How life will go? Yeah,
You have some people that never went to prison. They were baby. They're able to be very prosperous in life. They're able
yeah,
to maintain and create businesses, and it seems that they don't struggle, but they have their own prisons in their mind. Although you
okay,
might have been in a concrete prison, they have mental prisons because they have all these things. They don't have no direction. They don't have really guidance on what they really want to do. They have a lot of wealth, but they don't have the spirituality and the consciousness to understand the value of having God.
so when you talk about there are people they have everything, but still their mind is in prison. What is that? What do you mean about that?
But what I mean is that the way we think,
Okay.
Generally the way we think, um, opportunity is based on, in America, opportunity is big. You can
Yeah.
be anything you want to be. You can be a multi-millionaire, but you got to earn it.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
started my own motivation company, and while I'm working, and I'm doing basically the same thing. I'm staying up at night writing books, writing stories, writing
Okay.
training on Facebook, sending message out, and want to be on these podcasts. That's how I was able to contact you.
Yeah. Exactly.
See, so I'm building my own media with the message out there that this miraculous thing in my life is not only for me, it's just not designated for me. Whether
Yeah.
you are incarcerated or where you're not incarcerated, you still can be living in a prison in your mind. And by
Yeah.
living in the
Exactly.
prison in your mind, you may have what I call a poverty consciousness. And the concept of poverty consciousness is to believe that you can never achieve anything beyond what you are now. So you stay
Okay.
home and you just complain about the beans are
Uh,
too cold and we're having pie again, or we're just going to have uh, uh, potatoes, or we're just going to have potatoes and some bean soup again. But when you become
mm,
conscientious of that, you're thankful for the bean soup, whether it's
yeah.
got pepper in it, whether it's got hot sauce in it, where it's
Mhm.
spruced up to be palatable for my palate. I don't care if it's just a raw piece of potato. It's something
Okay.
that the Creator has given me for me to be appreciative for. But if I have this ungratitude attitude towards life, and I'm not willing to accept the work, to put in the work that I need to do, the biblical part of the word says faith without works is dead. So I have to take some actions. This, for instance,
Okay.
this podcast that you have, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Behind the scene, you had to do something. It just
Yeah.
didn't manifest by itself. You
Yeah.
had to sacrifice some time. You had to
Yeah.
sacrifice some money to get the equipment. You had to
Exactly.
learn certain things that you didn't know at first. You made some mistakes, but you
Yeah.
kept striving and you established this podcast for it to help people all over the world. You
Yeah.
talking to me way in America.
Yeah.
But you didn't have the poverty consciousness due to the fact because someone said you couldn't do it. You had inside of you a purpose consciousness that said, no matter what I do, I'm going to make it.
I mean, just to stand by you here, I mean, when I started doing this podcast thing and YouTube thing, I do these short videos about motivating people, how to motivate yourself, how to believe in yourself, how to trust your journey. I mean, when I started, many of my friends told me that I'm just wasting my time. Nobody gonna listen to my video. Nobody gonna subscribe to my YouTube channel. I always tell people that, I mean, in life, you just have to believe in yourself. I mean, even it's only one person is listening to me, I'm grateful of that. If my message can inspire somebody out there whom I never meet, I never saw, I mean, I'm really grateful of that. I mean, today you really inspire me a lot. Like, we put our mind into prison. Prison is not just about they lock you, they close the door. I mean, you are in prison. You can be outside there, but your mind is in prison. Like what you said, and anything you have, you always complain. Like, I don't want this. I eat this every day. I don't want that. I mean, that's real prison too. That's real prison too.
That's absolutely right because when see, I have what is called in my one of my books called a Peter
Hmm?
syndrome. Okay, so but I would like to get back to the story how I got to Mecca, so you
Yeah.
can really see how it was.
Yeah, now I think we have to talk about your journey to Mecca, how it happened, how it all began, go to Mecca. I mean, Hajj or Umrah, whatever happened there, how it all happened. I want you to tell us more about that.
I wish I could have sent you pictures and tapes and stuff for you before this happened, so you would have had a
Yes,
chance.
you
Maybe
can.
afterwards you can
You can.
send me a link and I'll send you all that
I will send
in
you
the
my
book
number. Then
information.
you can
Oh,
send
yeah.
me. Yeah.
Okay. So what happened was is that remember the brothers had went to Mecca and they had this like majlis and they were talking about they wanted to take people because our masjid basically is rich. He
Yeah.
just bought a property for like $2 million. And
Okay.
so basically those brothers are doctors and they got plenty of money at the masjid. And so, but I don't ask for anything. I understand the concept of of striving to get what you want, that God is not just going to give you anything, because if he gives it to you and you're not ready for it, you're going to squander it anyway because you don't know how to maintain it. You got to serve what God has given to you. You have to have that grit. You have to have that understanding about the responsibility of what he gives you. Once you understand the responsibility of that podcast, now you're going to be a big podcaster because you understand your responsibility, and you're helping people heal by listening to people like myself about hardships, challenges, obstacles, success, and what it takes to be successful. It's never going to be the way you want it. You're going to make that investment, and that investment may not work out in you. But the best investment you can make is always in you. And you never can second guess it. Because if you second guess it, that's the day that prison returns. Because that prison in your mind is going to tell you all kind of negative stuff. You should just quit and go get a job. You should just work the rest of your life. The conditions in our country just ain't right. You're never going to make it because everybody else is just hanging around. Everybody else is just sitting around drinking. Everybody else is around just playing dominoes. Everybody else is just looking at the sky, making up stories, dreaming that something is going to fall out of the sky. So I think I'll just go back to that. So if you think that way, that is what we call a poverty consciousness. Okay. And so with the miraculous event that I'm getting ready to explain you to right now, is very important, because the first thing was I had to go get my passport, which is in a place called Elk Grove, California. It's about maybe 50 miles north of where I live at in Stockton, California.
Yeah.
So I get down there and I'm enthusiastic. I'm going in there. I'm ready to get my passport. But let me step back just a little bit to show you how I was able to get the pass to go to Mecca. Okay. So when I told my parole officer about Mecca, she said, I don't know about you going to no Mecca, Mitchell, because that's just too far. Nobody that I know of that's on life parole has ever been granted to go to Mecca.
Mecca. Ooh.
Right? In California to Mecca, I don't know nobody on life parole. You might have to wait off the life parole. She said, but one thing I do know, the guy that writes the passes is coming to one of our meetings next week. Why don't you ask him? So he comes to the meeting and I'm this, I'm that. He's telling us about his credentials and how long he's getting ready to retire. He got about 2 months where he retired. And does anyone has anything they want to ask? So I raise my hand up and I say, I have something I have to ask. He said, what is it? I say, hypothetically, if a guy was invited to go to Saudi Arabia, a non-extradition country, on Hajj or Umrah or to make a pilgrimage, what is his chances of going? So he says, hypothetically, if that guy got information from the people that was taking them and they can ensure us that they're going to take him and escort him over there and bring him back, I might consider it.
Yeah.
So I went and got the letter, gave it to my parole officer. She gave him the letter. And the next time he came back the next month, I thought nothing of it. The brothers was asking me, hey, are you going to be able to go? You got like 4 months to get everything. We got your hotel. You're going to have to go get your shots. You're going to have to get your visa. You're going to have to get your passport, and you're going to get those shots. We need to know because this is going to cost us the plane flight, round trip, all this stuff costs, right? So I told him, I don't know. This is all new to me. I've just been out of prison just maybe 6 months, man. All this stuff is new. I'm trying my best. People are telling me I don't exist. I go get the passport, pay the man. The man say, you can keep your money, but I'll keep it anyway just in case. But right now, Mr. Mitchell, you don't exist. Wow. I said, what do you mean you don't exist? I just gave you my license. I do exist, man. I need this passport. I got to go to Mecca, man. This is an extraordinary event. Nobody in the history of California has been able to do this. He said, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Mitchell. You're just going to have to call the higher ups. So I call the higher ups, and it's in the book also. So I call the higher ups, and I'm talking. I say, hey, I need to get this passport. He said, okay, give me your social security number. So I give him my social security number. They put the social security in there. I said, Mr. Mitchell, let me ask you a question. Where have you been for the last 28 years? Because you're not in our system. I said, man, I've been to prison. I've been in prison for 28 years. He said, okay, well, that's past my pay grade. I'm not. I'm have to send you to my supervisor.
Wow.
So he transferred me over to his supervisor. She said, "Okay, what can I do for you? What's going on?" They tell me you want your passport. You don't exist in our system. You've been gone for 28 years. Tell me your story. So I tell her, I say, "Hey, these people got together. They put this money together to go for me to go to Mecca. I'm on life parole. The parole agency is just waiting for me to get to, they already approved it. This is the first time this is ever going to happen in history. It's never happened before."
Yeah.
Right? And she says, "Well, where you been?" I said, "Well, I've been to prison for 28 years. She said, "28 years, right?" And she don't say nothing else. So I explained to her, I said, "This journey is going to be excellent. It's going to be everything." And she hangs up on me.
Wow.
Or we get disconnected.
Wow.
So I walk out, my wife is saying, "What's going on, honey?" I see you a little perplexed. I say, "Honey, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't think I'm going to make it because the lady that gives the passes, she hung up on me." So my wife tells me, she says, "Allah is what the He haq. He never falls short on his promises. If the brother told you 30 years that Allah's messenger told you that you were going, if you had a dream and the messenger said that you was going there, you're going there.
Absolutely.
There's nothing that's going to stop me from going there."
Exactly. Nobody can stop that.
Right? But knowing me, that prison, I did 28 years. This is all new to me. That prison went to talking. "You ain't going to no Mecca. Ain't nobody gonna let you go to no Mecca. You fresh out of prison. You don't even know what Mecca look like. You ain't gonna go." Right? So I'm doing my salat and asking Allah. So time go by and the brothers is getting closer and closer to getting all the arrangements and the visas and everything. And so I'm going to work, going to school. I'm going to this hustle and bustle, trying to set up the schedule so I can leave and all that, just in case.
Yeah.
So I come home one day and my wife say, "Honey, I got something for you." I said, "What do you got for me?" She say, "I got your passport."
Wow. Huh?
It still sends chills to me now, Aki. And so got the passport. I was able to expedite everything. I get to the airport, San Francisco airport, getting ready to get on there because this is the time right before COVID and they got what they call Homeland Security stuff.
Yeah.
I'm telling the imam, I say, "Brother Imam, they ain't gonna let me go because I'm on parole and they're not going." I'm at the airport now.
Okay.
With the passport and the visa in my hand. I'm still doubting.
So wait a little here. In America, when you are in parole, like you are out in prison, they don't let you go out from the country.
No, absolutely not.
So for how long does it take for you to go out from the country? It takes many years or months or how?
When you get off life parole, 7 years.
Yeah. After 7 years, you are free to travel without no problem.
After 7 years.
It still happens. It's still existing in America.
Yes. Okay. Some people stay on parole for 10 years.
Okay. But you can't travel within America.
It just depends on if your parole officer want to let you go.
Oh. Well, I never knew about that.
In California, you only got a 50-mile radius. You can only go 50 miles.
Okay. Oh. But you can go to work. You can go to work. You can do whatever you want. You do your social life. And
in that county where you live at, you can do anything you want. But when it's time for you to go to another county or another place, you got to have a pass.
Okay. So because you talk about when you are in parole, when you are driving a car, you have to let them know who is inside the car, your driving license, what kind of color car you are driving, what kind of the color of the car. So why do they do that? Are they controlling you not to go away from the country? Are you running away, or why are they doing that? Or
they do that because they do that because they call that parole conditions.
Okay.
So they let you out on parole conditions. If you break any one of those parole conditions, you go back to prison.
Okay.
So you can't do nothing unless they say you can do it. This has never been done in the history of California, and it still hasn't been done. I was the only one that left the country, and no one has done it since.
So they let you go to Mecca. I mean, like, make me understand, why do they let you go to Mecca, but they don't let other people to go out of the country? So how that happened on your case?
It was a miracle, Aki.
Okay.
You explain it to me then how I went. No one can explain it.
No, I know.
The parole officers and them couldn't even explain it. They didn't. They were shaking their heads. We don't even know how we did it. You know, it's history behind that, because they had to get it signed by the governor. They had to get it signed by the lieutenant governor. They had to get it signed by a committee of other people. And if any one of those people would have declined or descended on one of them, I would have never went. Everybody signed.
Okay. Then you went to Mecca with your friends. And what happened next in Mecca? When you arrive in Mecca, what do you do?
I had my ikram on and I was ready, got my hair shaved, and then we went and did all the rituals, walked around the Kaaba, you know, circumvented around the Kaaba 7 times, did the evening prayer, ran up and down Mara and Sarah, and then, you know, we did all the rituals, and then when we went back to the hotel, I got undressed, put some clothes on, and went right back out to Mecca. I just walked around it all day, all night.
How was the feeling? How was the feeling, like, from prison? And your friend Madi told you that you tell your friend that you dream about the black thing, and he narrated the story about it is Mecca, and now you see yourself in Mecca. What was the feeling? What was the excitement? You know, the day you step, you saw the Kaaba, and you think about your dream. What was the excitement? The feelings?
Well, it's indescribable.
Yeah.
You know, you're fighting with tears, with joy. Is this real? Let me pinch myself. You know, we laid over in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
And Germany. We laid over in Germany, right? So I'm in Germany, walking down in the airport in Germany on life parole, right? And I'm telling myself, this has got to be one of the most miraculous things ever happened for not only me, but for the history of humanity. You know, this has never been done. Guys are going now, but they get off parole. They have to wait like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. It just depends on what the parole board says, how many years you got to stay on it. Now, that was even a miraculous event too. But when I was standing there in Mecca, I knew when I got back that there was nothing that I couldn't do. There was no mindset was going to interfere with what I needed to do, accomplish. If I had to work 2 jobs and go to school, I was going to do that, because this was miraculous. I remember what the brother told me when I was in prison, that I didn't have a promise to get out of it. He said, the prophet said, if you dream about it, you're going.
Yeah. But this is my opinion. I thought that, you know, your days in prison, you know, the discipline and behavior, the peace, you know, and the interaction with you and the inmate, you know, I think that help you, that structure your case. And then maybe the officer now know that, okay, Mr. Gregory case is very clean. You know, he in prison, he was calm. He's a peaceful man. You know, he obeyed the law. You know, he respect inmate. He respect the officers there. Could you think that to play a very important role to let you to go to Mecca when you are in parole?
That could have played a role, but what the role was, you got to understand, is that the country that I'm going to, I don't have to come back.
So how long you didn't come back? Or
I did, but I'm saying, you know, you have countries that are considered as non-extraditional countries, and Saudi Arabia is a non-extraditional country.
Yeah.
So that was a concern. If we let him go, he might not come back.
Come back, okay. But do you promise them that you're gonna come back?
I'm here. I came back. You know, I wasn't ever thinking about staying there. I had a family. I still had to pursue my education and all the things that I was supposed to do as a man and as a Muslim.
Yeah.
So the point is that the extraordinary event, the phenomena. See, Allah is only going to do certain things in your life, or whatever creator that you call creator, the impossible thing that you think is impossible in your life. That's when God is going to show up to show you that he's there to help you get through
Yeah.
the impossibility. But you have to, like you said, believing in yourself.
Yeah.
Allah says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina alaykum anfusikum. Oh, you believe, guard your own soul. So if
Yeah.
someone is pumping your mind up, telling you with negativity that you're never going to be anything, and you listen to it and submit to it, that becomes your illah. That
Yeah.
becomes your God. That comes
Yeah.
in form of your thinking. When you
Yeah.
start thinking like that, that's how you're going to be. You're going to be negative. Oh, cold coffee. Oh, hard bread again. Corn again. Oh, lettuce again. We just go eat the same stuff over and over again. We become
Mhm.
ungrateful. Allah doesn't like people that are ungrateful. He doesn't
No.
like people that are complainers.
Yeah.
He likes people of action. Even in the Christianity, they say faith without works is dead. Be a
Yeah.
doer of the word. Doer of the
Yeah.
word is an action. We can believe anything we want to believe, but we have to have some a conscientious effort, meaning that we have to be aware of the difficulty.
Yeah.
And when we're aware of the difficulties, it gives us the opportunity to understand how the miracle came about.
Yeah. But then you write about a book, Prison to Maker. Your book is titled Prison to Maker. Why do you choose that title? And what does maker symbol to you, like your personal journey? And what message do you have? What message do you have, like hope, reading, and take that from your book?
Well, see, Mecca represents humanity.
Yeah.
It's a universal understanding of why the Creator has created us differently.
Yeah.
Our differences are our strengths.
Yeah.
But due to the fact of our enemy, Iblis, the Shaitan, he makes us believe that some of us are superior or inferior, and this is how we categorize ourselves. We
Yeah.
categorize ourselves according to what other people perceive us to be.
Yeah.
We don't see the essence of what Creator has made us as special. So we don't value ourselves, then we can't believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
So when you have been through these hardships and you made it out of it, you have a
Mhm.
historical and a biological understanding of how the Creator has fixed you, made you, and prepared your mind to be something better. Now,
Yeah.
don't think that it's always easy for me out here in the world. I do get thoughts of things doing. I do get lazy and I don't want to get up and do salat.
Yeah.
I do sometimes get lazy. I don't want to pursue because I'm going out to see vice mayors. I'm dealing with different companies, establishing my business. I don't want to have to talk to people that I have never met before. I have to get out of my comfort zone. I have to do things that I ordinarily have to do. I go to work and then I go back to building my business and I have to stay up at night. I have to
Yeah.
make sacrifices.
Yeah.
So I tell people when they say, "Well, how do you do it?" I explained to him, I have a saying in my house. It says, proper planning prevents poor performance. So if you want to
Again,
go
again,
back,
can you say that again, Papa?
proper planning prevents poor performance.
Okay. Wow.
Proper planning, they call it the 5 Ps. It's in
Yeah.
what is the name? It's in a book called The Profession, The 7 Habits of Proficiency. It's a
Yeah.
book called that. I'll send you the title of the book.
Okay.
And so you learn about these things about cohesiveness of dealing with business people, business mind, business models. But what we need to understand is what happens when that business model happens. Are you going to be prepared for the opportunity? When this podcast came on, was I prepared for the opportunity? Am
Mm.
I conveying a message that is clear, that is heartfelt, where it can transform lives into the betterment once they look at their hardship and compare their hardships to see if those hardships is not really an obstacle at all?
Yeah.
And do they connect with complaining is connecting with the conscience and how God uh, responds to you? When you respond in a way that you're in a better position than some people, you might have get up and the coffee was cold. Nobody didn't have no water to drink today.
Yeah.
They didn't have no cold potatoes to eat. They don't have no refrigeration. They don't have no water. Somebody's worse off than you. So
Yeah.
Creator is giving you something to be able to be in a position. So he just gave me a cup of water today, and I went having 7 refrigerators in my house full of food. I still would be thankful just for the cup of water,
Mm.
because I understand that being thankful for the cup of water, somebody don't have that.
Yeah,
So we
that's
got
true.
to understand that we are all, the mind is interconnected by what we perceive ourselves to be. We can be in squalid conditions. We can be in a state of poverty, but it doesn't mean that your mind is not rich. It
Yeah,
doesn't define your future. What defines your future is how you think and how you transfer those thoughts into reality and how those realities become into action. And then when you come into that transformation, you make a better community. You make a better government. You make a better family. You make a better society. You make a better economical structure.
mm.
So when you think about yourself and you think, I can't do nothing, the government got everything, I can't do anything, you can. The way you think puts the imprint on the universe, makes the world better. Just by what you do, just the way you think makes the world better. And now
Yeah.
if you can't, even though this is such a minute, microscopic way of thinking, it has a profound effect on your thinking.
So, so it means your story. I mean, 18 years in prison, and your whole entire life, the story is based on the book, right?
Hmm.
So the book is all about your story, your imprisonment, and your journey to Maker, and how you transform yourself. That's the story of the book.
Right.
But is there any challenges, when you were writing the book?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it took me 5 years to write.
5 years.
Because you remember, I was going to school working two jobs.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Your story is very, very inspired. I mean, I learn a lot, and I know many people will learn a lot, especially when you thought of what you said. Our mind, we put our mind into prison, believing that I cannot do this. I'm complaining about this. That state of mind, I think we have to remove that in our mind. And now one thing also, I always tell my kids too, like, you have this thing here. Do you know that how many kids are outside there? They don't have what you have right now. So be grateful what you have is very, very important in life. Be grateful because there are people out there, they wish they can have what you get right now, but they cannot. And they are grateful what they have too. So that's why it's always important. I always tell my kids, be grateful what you have. Respect people who they are. It's very, very important in life.
Absolutely. Because this, the word, my second book, Social Cycle Economy,
Yeah.
do you know the word economy comes from the word household?
Okay.
So it means that if the household is in disorder, your economy is in disorder.
Yeah.
So if you have a household and everything is just disarrayed, the clothes is thrown over here, plates are sitting in the kitchen sink, and it's just the conditions are not in order. This is a form of way of understanding of being grateful, because if you're grateful, you're connected to order. In order for you to overcome things, it's small little things you can do to get back in order. I was at an event with a couple of millionaires,
Okay.
and one millionaire said this, and it stuck with me while I was there because I'm there networking,
Yeah.
building businesses and relationships. You got to,
Yeah.
nobody's
Yeah.
going to give me nothing. I got to get out and
Yeah.
get it because I
Yeah.
believe in this miracle. I've been to Mecca, so ain't nothing hard for me.
Yeah.
So I've been through some extraordinary things, so ain't nothing hard for me. It may not be when I want it, but I'm gonna be grateful by doing it, and I'm have a strong mindset. But this
Yeah.
is what she said. She said, "I've been a millionaire twice,
Okay.
and I've been homeless twice."
Mm.
She said, "Now I'm working my way back of being a millionaire, but I'm not gonna give you no money. I'm not gonna give you anything, but I will leave you with this.
Okay.
You have to work hard, network, believe in yourself." She said each day that she gets up, she writes 10 things that she's thankful for. That's what I do in the morning after I do Farja. I listen to
Okay.
positive affirmations. Why am I grateful? I'm grateful for my destiny. Doesn't define my future. I'm grateful for the having a roof over my head. I'm grateful for this cup of coffee. I'm thankful that I'm able to have my faculties and my limbs. I'm thankful just to be here to be able to thank you, to give you the glory for the day.
Mm.
Because neurosciences, if you study about neurosciences, my next book, I'll send you a copy of that too.
Okay.
Neuroscientists say that if your mind starts off with the day of being grateful, it transforms that into the miracle of the next stage of what you're trying to do in life because it attracts people that are thankful. And
Yeah.
most people are in positions that help you. They've been in the same condition that you are, and they're attracted to you already about what you do. They have already been poor. They've
Yeah.
been in it. They may not be went to that prison, but they understand the prison that they were in before they became millionaires. They
Yeah.
were homeless.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They was out in squalor positions, and their minds were saying that I'd never be able to be anything. Then they became business owners. Then they flunked that test, and then they went back to being homeless. Now they're back on the rise. So when people tell you about, they all have the same central theme.
Mm.
You, like you said, you have to believe in yourself. One,
Yeah.
you have to practice and train yourself each day how you think and why you think the way you think.
Okay.
Three, you got to understand your emotional state. So when you get to talking to people and people say things that you don't like, you don't get emotional and you
Mm.
stoop down to their level and start acting the way they act to. Because they want to be a fool don't mean you have to be one either. You have to
Yeah.
have a dignified demeanor of yourself and keep your dignity because that's the essence of who you are. But it all takes human development. It takes training, it takes patience, it takes time, and most of all, it takes time for you to just work on yourself. Now, if you just done these little small little things that I'm asking you to do 5 to 10 minutes a day, you'll see your life start to transform into what you need to be. If
Wow.
you're afraid to go back to school, don't worry about it. Plan how to go back.
Wow.
If you can't go to read, go learn the alphabet.
Wow.
Simple stuff. No one, you
Yeah.
ain't got to worry about it. You're gonna find somebody else that don't know the alphabet, and they're gonna want to learn the alphabet too. You're gonna
Yeah.
learn somebody that don't know more than what you know because you just decided that you just didn't want to know nothing. But if you take a step towards life, it'll transform your life into something that is great. And if I had any inspired words for you, all I would have to say to you is that your circumstances doesn't define who you are in your future.
Yeah. Exactly. We talk a lot, and I just want, I don't want to stop. I just want to listen to you because you inspire me a lot. You are just motivating me. Like I know a lot of people will be listening to this after, and they will be seeing themselves in your story, and they have to motivate themselves, like to do extra, to believe in themselves, and don't let nobody distract you to tell you that you cannot do this. Always believe in yourself that you can do something good if you want to do it. But now we talk about your purpose. I understand that your faith play a very important role to transform your life. And what does forgiveness mean to you today?
Oh, forgiveness is stock fear. You know, is forgiveness is important,
Yeah.
but the main thing that you have to forgive is yourself.
Why?
You have to forgive yourself to understand the damage that you may have done to others. You have to
Without
consider
without regret, or do
you
you
have
have
to
to? Sorry, do you have to regret, or do you have to forgive yourself? Or, like, for example, oh, I regret this thing happened to me before, or do you just have to forgive yourself, or what have happened?
okay. So what I mean by forgive yourself, you have to backtrack.
Okay.
You have to ponder. You just can't say, "Oh, I'm gonna forgive myself," and tomorrow everything is gonna be okay. It
Okay.
doesn't. It's a process.
Okay.
So you have to understand your responsibility to yourself and that you uphold that responsibility when you harm other people. So you
Okay.
can go ask another person, say, Lehman, can you forgive me? I didn't mean to talk about you. I didn't mean to harm you. I didn't mean to say anything bad about your wife. I didn't mean to say anything bad about you. You can say, oh, yeah, I forgive you. And hold that thought for years. And that guy can never get anything from you again because you feel that he disrespected your family. You never forgave him, right? Because you're
Yeah.
not conscientious that you still hold that grudge. So you have to research yourself to understand what makes you tick, what makes you feel the way you feel. And then you come to the conclusion how to forgive yourself, the process of doing it. Man, I was wrong about that.
Mm.
How am I going to be able to do that? Okay, what we're going to do is now we're going to write a letter to ourselves. I'm going to write a letter to me and say, Dear Gregory, at one time I've done this and I caused a lot of harm. I can't specify everything that I've done wrong or did wrong because I can't remember everything that I have done. But from my reflections of what I've done to myself, I understand that this caused me to commit things to other people and harm other people. So now I'm going to forgive me so I can understand how to ask forgiveness from them sincerely. So conscientiously, I heal myself. So now when I go talk to somebody and say, hey, 20 years ago, man, you are already forgiven from that. They don't even let you finish the sentence.
Yeah.
They don't even let you
But
finish the sentence. Go ahead.
yeah.
Adi.
Do you believe that everybody have a second chance? Like, do you believe they should give everybody a second chance? And if you believe that, why?
Well, I believe that you have more than a second chances. I believe you have opportunity as long as you make it.
Okay.
See, so it's, an opportunity will arrive, but will you be ready for that opportunity when it arrives?
Okay.
So it takes work on you first, and while you working on yourself, you have all the chances that you have, but you just can't settle for that. You can't say, "Well, I'll get another chance," because you may not, but you can always have another opportunity.
Opportunity. Yeah. Well, that's that.
See, so when opportunity knocks, hey, I need you to be on this show tomorrow. What are you going to do? Yeah. When that opportunity knocks, do I have value for that? So now I have to take responsibility for it. Okay, what was on my schedule? Okay, you guys don't call me at this time. Hey, take care of that schedule for me. Let me have this time. I'm responsible for this. But I need
Yeah.
you over here. No, I'm responsible for this. I gave this person my word. I'm responsible for this. Now, as soon as I get done with that, we'll get back to that. So I have to understand what my responsibility is to myself. That's the part of my forgiveness, being
Yeah.
responsible.
Wow. I mean, you talk about you write a book like Prison to Maker, and where can somebody find this book in and do you have any link or any website where somebody can find this book, because
Yeah.
I know the book will be very very interesting. Even I myself, I'll be really really interested to read that book. You know what, even when I tell my wife that, I tell my wife about you, the story, she's very interested, to know about your story. She was even asking me, what time is your interview again, because she want to she want to know the stories, because she is very interested to know everything, your life imprisonment, your journey to Maker, your faith, and now you are a very successful businessman. You write books, you help other people to, you motivate people, you do all those kind of things,
Mhm.
So let us talk about your new book.
Okay, my new book is it's in the process of being printed. I'm doing the second edit on it right now. It's called Psychosocial Economy, and one of the things that I wrote about is that how the mind works. I talk about different concepts. Right, one of
Okay.
the concepts I talk about is social alchemists. A
Okay.
social alchemist is basically what you are, but
Okay.
you just don't define yourself as social alchemist because you really haven't been able to tap into the concept of it. But a
Okay.
social alchemist is basically the 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 concept of alchemy is that our ancestors back in Egypt was able to turn tin to gold. One of the readers, a profound writer back in the day called Napoleon Hill, he talked
Mhm.
about the alchemical conscience,
Yeah.
meaning that that mind that was at a poor state of mind was transferred from a poor state of mind into a rich state of mind. So this is the book that he calls Think and Grow Rich. So it's always dealing with the consciousness. How are you able to proceed in life? How do you perceive yourself? So a social alchemist is able to have an interview with a patient or a client, and that client comes into you and he says, "Hey, Lehman, I just have all these dreams. I'm having all these problems. I can't get nowhere. My wife and them don't respect me. I don't have no job. I just don't know what to do.
Okay.
And he says, tell me, what can I do? And then you sit there and you explain it. I can't tell you what to do,
Huh?
but I can give you some information how to change.
How to change?
Now, what you do with that information can make you or break you.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the information makes you. But the first thing we have to do is we need to identify why you feel that no one respects you.
Okay.
Why do you feel that your house is at disorder? Why do you feel this way? And then they'll explain to you, well, because my wife, she ain't doing this, she ain't doing that. I ain't got no job and I don't have no education. I don't have anything. They might go in all these different reasons why they don't have something.
Yeah.
And then you get them at the stage where, okay, now we know what the problem is. Now, what is the solution?
Okay.
See, so the solution has to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It has to go back to the elementary.
Oh,
So now we have to put these problems in order for you to resolve them. They all can't be put in one pot,
no. Wow. So,
right? So if I
is
have,
the
go
is
ahead.
the book out yet, or is the
No,
book ready?
it's in its final stages. It's
Okay.
gonna. One of the things I had a different publisher on this book. This publisher is getting ready to take the book to a German Frankfurt Fest for book. They're gonna have a book fair in Frankfurt, and there's about 2 million people that come to the book fair. So they're gonna
Ooh.
the book will be highlighted or previewed there at that
Okay.
at that uh, at that fair, which is going to be about 2.5 million. It's called the Frankfurt Book Fair,
Wow.
and so they have filmmakers and everything there. So they're getting ready. That's where they're going to launch the book at.
Wow.
So
That's
the
good.
sales will go up high, and at the same time, people will be able to get. I'll be getting more exposure way over there in different countries because people come from all over the world to examine books.
Yeah. But are you planning to write many books in the future?
Huh?
Are you planning to write many books in the future?
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna write a book about this interview.
Okay. About.
I'm gonna write about this interview.
Okay. Oh, you will write this book about this interview.
Right. Because
Wow.
the reason
That's
why is
interesting.
okay, so this interview might change my life. Somebody might see me on your interview that needs to do another interview, might want to book me, need to come
Yeah.
to the university. They might want to
Yeah.
buy these books. They talk to the friend in Germany, and then the friend in Germany talks to his friend in Japan. His friend in
Yeah.
Japan talks to his friend in Canada. His friend in
Yeah.
Canada talks to his friend in Budai. His friend in Budai talks to the dude in Qatar. The guy in Qatar talks to the guy in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. I mean, it's a social networking, we connect, like connect ideas, connect, everything together.
Right. So we can't look at anything as minute. We have to look at everything as an opportunity.
Opportunity, exactly.
So, but if you don't think that way, you can't cash in on the opportunity. If you say, "Oh, that's just too small. I can't take out time to write that stuff down. I can't take it down to write all that stuff down. I can't do that stuff. That stuff is just going to be too hard for me to do." So that means that if you can't take out time to write just 3 sentences about why you think that why Mike does not respect me,
Hmm.
and then on the other line, why should she respect me?
Okay.
Right? Now
Yeah.
you're going to find out some things about it. The reason why she doesn't respect you is because you don't respect yourself. Because you're contradictory in everything you do. You tell the kids to be quiet and don't cuss, you cuss. You tell the kids not to drink, you drink. You tell the kids to go to work, you sleep all day. You tell the kids not to beat on their wife, you slap me around. You tell the kids to do something that you don't do, so you're contradictory, you're a walking dichotomy. And that's why I don't respect you. And then when you get in front of your friends while I'm there, you act like you just love me to death. You treat me so good. You do everything, but you're a demon with me. I just love you and have kids by you. So why would I respect you? You don't respect yourself.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. Wow. But but it is difficult to write books, or just ideas just come to you, or you are just used to it, those days when you are in prison, you just
Well,
keep on writing.
well, they have AI tools now, right?
Yeah.
Like, say for instance, me and you were going to author a book.
Yeah.
You can send me a page today, and I can take it and put it in AI, and AI would edit it. I would send
Okay.
it back to you, right? And
Yeah.
then you would say, okay, this is what I want it to be. And then
Okay.
we would leave it like that, and then we go to the next page.
Okay.
And
Wow.
so this makes it easier for the editor because it's structured. It's still your words, but it's just structured. So it makes it quicker.
Wow.
It makes it quicker than me just writing like this and then writing it on paper, then typing it and then editing it and then typing it and then editing it, then typing it and then editing it.
Wow.
See? So the other book was quicker to do, right? So, but books, now I want you to understand this, what books do.
Yeah.
Books are more than books. Sometimes the sales of your book don't really be the way you want them to do. But
Okay.
books put you as makes you an authority. When you make a book about
Hmm?
something and people read it, all you have to do is refer them to the book.
Yeah.
And then when they read the book, they say, oh, yeah, that's an inspiring story. That makes him
Sorry.
authority on transformation. That makes him authority on inspiration. He can come to the prison penal system. He can come to the lawyer system. He can come to the senator floor. He's got the knowledge to be able to help us write bills to keep these guys from re-entering society, and become better people.
Yeah.
Has the ability to tell people about their consciousness. He has good concepts about alchemy and how to transform these metaphors where people can connect with them, where they can identify what's wrong with themselves and correct it. Because we're not trying to correct you, we're just trying to excavate and involve you into the human potential that you are. The reason why you're contradictory and why you're a dichotomy towards your wife is because you don't understand who you are. You
Wow.
blaming everybody about their faults, but you won't accept the responsibility for yourself. So this is what causes for you to have this, what is called schizophrenia in your mind, thinking that it's all right to beat on her and then get in front of your friends and show how much you love her. See, I love my
Yeah.
wife, I really do. But behind the scenes, I'm beating her because you don't want to let nobody know that you're doing
No,
that.
about it.
You
Yeah.
already know in the
Exactly.
back of your mind that's not the way you want to be seen or perceived.
I mean, we talk a lot, almost 2 hours. I mean, I couldn't even. I don't have much word. The feeling I could express. That thank you very much. For your time. I really appreciate your time today. I mean, I learn a lot from you tonight. I really, really learn a lesson from you. But here is what advice can you give to somebody else who is trapped by his past, and what message are you gonna give those people who are listening right now, especially young people? What message are you gonna give to us? Like how we gonna build ourselves as human being, how we gonna build ourselves through faith, belief, and peace, and hard work too. I'll be really happy to hear that advice from you.
Well, I mean, we have to understand that we can't just put everybody in the same category.
Yeah.
We just can't tell every human being that one particular thing works.
Okay.
So we can't say if you do this, you do this, you do this, this will work for you.
Okay.
So my advice can't be a pigeonhole type cookie cutter advice for the totality of humanity.
Okay.
It has to be tailored to each situation, what the person is going through.
Yeah.
Because we all have the potentiality of being great,
Yeah.
but we don't all have the same condition and the state of mind that we do.
Yeah.
Some people are multimillionaires,
Yeah.
but they have problems behind closed doors because they like messing with kids.
Yeah. Exactly.
Some people are multimillionaires, but they don't have no friends because they introvert people. They don't know
Yeah.
how to get out and do anything. They do everything virtually. They
Yeah.
became rich by digital marketing. They don't
Yeah.
even come in contact with people, but they want to learn how to be more gregarious, so to speak. They want to be more, have more fellowship. So
Yeah.
that situation is different than telling a person that's caught up in the gang violence or in prison or um, not having the appropriate discipline to be able to do what they want to do to proceed in life. So each advice has to be made on the way the person thinks and what they're going through. So I
Yeah.
just can't give you no one word of advice, but I can give you a central theme of advice.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the central theme is that everybody needs food, shelter, and water.
Yeah.
We all
Exactly.
would agree that we need that.
Yeah.
We all can agree that we want that. And at the same time, we all want to have happiness in our life. We
Yeah.
want that.
Yeah.
Now, what our conditions is how we think is going to give us the ability to identify our defects.
Yeah.
And once you're able to identify our defects, now we can start working on ourselves to become better people.
Yeah.
So my advice to you is just to
Hmm?
understand the first step of change is the first way of how you think about yourself.
Okay. That's a very good advice. I mean, it's a honor to have you here tonight. I'm really, really happy to have you here. I'm grateful, for the beautiful, inspiring story. How you rebuild yourself, in life through all these years. You never give up. You keep on fighting for yourself. To be where you are today. I mean, that's a very good lesson for we young people to learn from you because you have been from prison, you are out from prison, you rebuild yourself, you go back to school, you educate yourself, you find job for yourself, you get married, you still believe in yourself, things will be better, you went to Mecca, you come back, doing all this business, everything you work in, everything by yourself, and it's a lesson for us to learn too. And I really appreciate your time and your energy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. For your time. And I wish I can have you again. Again. Because your story is never finishing story. You still have a lot. Out there, the people to listen.
Or maybe you can have me back when the book is published.
Exactly. I will send you my number and we can just, take it from there. Then you can let me know when your book is public. And you can send me a link to, from where people can get your book, so I can post it on my social media, Facebook, and YouTube, so people can go and get your book from there and they can read your book too and support you, to buy the book as well. And even me, I have to do that too as my, I will really, really love because I check on Amazon, so I don't know in Sweden here how it is in Amazon, in America to order a book, but I will check it, from here tonight, to see how it is because
Mhm.
I want to read that book, I want to know more about inside book because you said a lot here, and it's a life lesson, for all of us. And thank you very much, for your time. I really, really appreciate it. I mean, I don't have much word to express my feelings I have right now. I'm really, really blessed to have you here and to join me on my podcast, to accept my invitation. Thank you very much once again.
I will send you a link, and thank you so much. The pleasure is mine. I really appreciate the opportunity, and
Yeah,
I just hope that everybody had an opportunity to gain something from it. If it's
yeah,
just one person in the world that gained something from it to change their life, I've done my duty.
yeah. Thank you. I will send you you can send me a link of your books and everything, and I can share it too as well. I will send you the link of this, through YouTube, so you can listen to it too, and you can share it on your social media as well too, to I mean, your story is very, very, very inspired. Really, honestly, I'm blessed, to listen to your whole story. Like, like for me to, I have to do more. I have to believe in myself. I have to motivate myself. I have to accept who I am. I have to forgive myself. I shouldn't put my mind into prison. Stop complaining about things, rather than accepting and be grateful of the little thing I have, beside me. I mean, it's a blessing, to have you tonight. a very, very big blessing for me. I mean, it's like it's a God that sent you towards me to come and give me this lesson of life to learn, you know.
Well,
And
absolutely.
I would really love to have you back again here, you know, to talk about, you know,
Well,
more
I'll be
because
there for you. You just let me know. I'll be there for you.
yeah, I will link you up.
Okay, I'll send you the link where it's easy, where it's a Google engine link, and it pops up all the information, all my videos, all my books, and
Yeah,
my website will be up next month. So I'll send you the link to my website.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
You can send me the link.
and so God bless, and I just send the love out to everybody. And
Yeah,
you know, it's one thing to believe in yourself, and it's another thing to know how to.
yeah,
So I'll leave you with
exactly.
it.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, thank you. What they talking?